Shedeur Sanders could be the Browns' future, but Coach Stefanski's hesitation to start him over Dillon Gabriel has put both the team and his career in jeopardy. Gabriel's repeated mistakes on the field have only emphasized the coach's poor decision-making, as Stefanski now openly admits his misstep in choosing Gabriel over Sanders. The team's failure to develop Sanders at the right time could prove costly in the long run.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out,
despite clear signs that Sanders has the talent and leadership to succeed, Stefanski's delay in giving him a legitimate chance raises questions about the coach's judgment. This ongoing tension threatens to derail the Browns' season, with fans and analysts clamoring for a change that could reignite the team's prospects moving forward. Kevin Stefanski has finally said what Browns fans have been screaming for weeks: starting Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders was a mistake. That single sentence, short, candid, and long overdue, has detonated across Cleveland and the wider NFL landscape. And it's not just a coaching admission. It's a confession that the Browns may have wasted weeks of this season on a quarterback plan that everyone else could see wasn't working. The moment Stefanski acknowledged that he underestimated Sanders' readiness and potential, the narrative shifted. This wasn't about a slow-developing QB room or a safe veteran strategy. This was about favoritism. This was about strategic misjudgment. And most of all, this was about a coach who had seen the talent in front of him and still chose not to act. Let's not gloss over the core of the issue. Sanders had been showing promise for weeks: accurate throws, confident decision-making, visible leadership, and a level of poise that far exceeded expectations. Everyone saw it. Players, coaches, reporters. The only people who didn't act on it were the ones with the power to make the decision. And that decision, choosing Gabriel instead, set the team back. What's even more damning is that this wasn't just a football call. This wasn't just, "our guy gives us the best chance to win" kind of talk. It was loyalty. Plain and simple. Gabriel was Stefanski's guy. And despite multiple signs that things were trending in the wrong direction, turnovers, stalled drives, a team that lacked rhythm, Stefanski doubled down. Week after week. While Sanders stood on the sidelines, helmet in hand, ready to go. From the moment training camp started, it was clear who the staff had circled. Gabriel got the majority of the reps. Sanders was pushed down the depth chart. And no matter what Sanders did, it wasn't enough to move the needle. The excuse? Development. Patience. Timing. But now, with Stefanski's admission on the record, the truth is out. There was never a good football reason for Sanders to be sidelined. It was a misread. One that might cost this team more than just a few games. It's cost them trust. Internally, this has created a tension that isn't going away. Sources have already pointed to a locker room growing skeptical. How could they not be? Players see what happens in practice. They know who's delivering. They know who's leading. And when the coaching decisions start to contradict what the locker room sees with their own eyes, belief starts to fade. Favoritism like this doesn't stay quiet. It spreads. And when Sanders kept getting passed over, despite being ready, despite outplaying expectations, it signaled to the team that performance didn't matter. That the coaching staff would stick with their guy, even if it dragged the offense into the dirt. And Gabriel? He didn't just struggle, he spiraled. His performances have been marked by inconsistency, poor decisions, and missed opportunities. And when he was finally called out by Stefanski post-game, his response wasn't accountability, it was arrogance. Calling Sanders an entertainer instead of a competitor? That wasn't just tone-deaf. It exposed a deeper issue, a lack of humility and a clear disconnect from the situation unraveling around him. Gabriel's response didn't just anger fans, it embarrassed the organization. It showed that the guy still starting under center wasn't ready to lead. And while the team tried to move past it, fans didn't. Neither did the media. Because that's the moment it became clear, this wasn't just bad coaching. It was bad leadership. And it gets worse. Because in the middle of all this, the media began circling. Loud voices like Stephen A. Smith called it what many fans already believed, a cover-up. That Sanders wasn't actually hurt. That the coaching staff invented that excuse to justify benching him, buying time to stick with Gabriel without facing backlash. Whether or not the injury was real, the damage was done. People believed it. Because the situation looked like a lie. That's the price you pay when decisions don't make sense. You lose the benefit of the doubt. At this point, the Browns aren't just dealing with a quarterback controversy. They're facing a credibility crisis. Stefanski's next move isn't just about who plays quarterback. It's about whether the fans, the locker room, and the broader NFL still believe in his ability to lead. If he continues to roll with Gabriel, despite everything he's said and everything that's unfolded, the message is clear. Nothing's changing. And if that's the case, then this team is headed for a complete unraveling. The window for a turnaround is closing fast. The fans have seen what Sanders can do. They've chanted for him in the stands. They've watched Gabriel's missteps in real time. They know who's ready. They know who can ignite the offense and give them hope. And every week that passes with Sanders still benched is another week that hope fades. This isn't about throwing a rookie into the fire too early. This is about a player who's been ready, and a team that's running out of excuses. Sanders has the leadership, the accuracy, the swagger, everything you want in a franchise quarterback. And the coaching staff? They've been too afraid to pull the trigger. It's easy to admit a mistake. It's harder to fix it. Stefanski has taken the first step. But now he has to prove that his words mean something. Otherwise, the apology rings hollow, and the frustration from fans and players alike becomes permanent. This could have been a turning point. Stefanski's honesty could have cleared the air, paved the way for a new chapter, and reignited belief. Instead, it's only deepened the divide, because no one has followed through. And if that doesn't change soon, then the Browns aren't just at risk of losing a season. They're at risk of losing everything this current roster could have become. What happens next defines more than this season. It defines whether the Browns are ready to evolve, to grow, to trust talent over loyalty, and to finally stop being the team that plays it safe while the rest of the league passes them by. The fans have done their part. They've stayed loyal. They've shown up. They've kept the faith through every quarterback carousel this team has spun through. But now, they want action. Not quotes. Not vague promises. They want Shedeur Sanders on the field. Because this isn't about potential anymore. It's about reality. And if the Browns keep pretending they don't see it, they're going to wake up one day and realize they let the future walk out the door. If you've followed every twist of this quarterback saga, drop your thoughts below. Has Stefanski already lost the locker room? Should Sanders start immediately? Hit like if you're done watching this team stall, and subscribe for more coverage of every messy, dramatic, franchise-defining move in the NFL. Because Cleveland has a decision to make, and we'll be right here when they do. And here's the thing, this isn't just about football anymore. It's about accountability, transparency. The soul of a franchise that has been stuck in a cycle of almost rebuilds and next years for decades. The Cleveland Browns have had moments of hope before, but what's happening right now feels like another turning point, one they can't afford to get wrong. Kevin Stefanski finally cracked. His admission that starting Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders was a mistake wasn't just a headline, it was a white flag. An admission that, for all the planning, for all the posturing, the Browns made the wrong call. And that wrong call has now snowballed into a PR disaster, a locker room rift, and a quarterback controversy that's being dissected across every sports show in America. So where's the action? Where's the redemption arc? Because that's what the fans are begging for, not just a press conference quote but a tangible shift. A moment where Shedeur Sanders steps onto the field not as a backup, not in garbage time but as the guy. The starter. The leader. The spark this team so desperately needs. But Stefanski hasn't made that move. Not yet. And that hesitation is what's throwing gasoline on the fire. Think about it. If the coach knows he made the wrong call, and still doesn't fix it, what are we doing here? Gabriel's performances speak for themselves. Stat lines don't lie. His game tape is a highlight reel of hesitation, misreads, and flat-out bad decisions. He hasn't just struggled, he's regressed. There's no rhythm, no consistency, and frankly, no momentum. It's not working. And everyone in the stadium, in the locker room, in the front office knows it. Meanwhile, Sanders has been praised for his composure, his maturity, and his readiness. Insiders have said it. Reporters have echoed it. And the fans? They've been screaming it. Yet every Sunday it's the same story. Sanders in warm-ups. Sanders on the sidelines. Sanders being talked about instead of being trusted. And that delay, that refusal to pivot when the path forward is so obvious, is what's eroding whatever belief was left in this coaching staff. It's not even about being cautious anymore. It's about fear. Fear of admitting that the coaching staff stuck by the wrong guy for too long. Fear of the fallout from making a bold change mid-season. But you know what's worse than risk? Regret. And that's what Stefanski's facing if this continues. This could have been a statement season. It still could be. But not with Gabriel at the helm, and not with the front office doubling down on a flawed plan. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another young QB waiting his turn. He's the best chance this team has at flipping the script, at finding a rhythm, at believing again. The longer this drags on, the more it feels like the Browns are stuck in quicksand. And every quote, every vague update, every deflection only pulls them in deeper. And it's not just fans taking notice. The media has locked in. The Sanders-Gabriel controversy is now a national storyline. ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL insiders, everyone's talking. And they're not being kind. Stephen A. Smith torched the organization, accusing Stefanski of flat-out lying about Sanders' injury to justify keeping him benched. The narrative is out. The Browns are either covering something up, or they're willingly wasting a season on pride. And when people stop trusting your motives, when the public begins to believe your decisions are driven by politics instead of performance, you've already lost the locker room. You've already lost your grip on the culture. Let's be real. You don't get many windows in the NFL. You don't get many shots at true momentum. The Browns have talent. They have pieces. And with the right quarterback under center, they could be a legitimate threat. But the clock is ticking. The fan base is restless. And the room for error is gone. The argument isn't should Shedeur start. It's why hasn't he already? There's only one explanation left. Stefanski doesn't want to admit how badly he miscalculated. And that's the most dangerous kind of leadership. The kind that refuses to adapt when the evidence is overwhelming. That kind of leadership loses players. That kind of leadership alienates fans. That kind of leadership turns potential into disappointment. And right now, the Browns are dangerously close to letting this entire season slip away because of it. Shedeur Sanders is more than a name. He's more than a draft pick. He's more than hype. He's earned his shot. In practice. In film. In the eyes of his teammates. The culture shift that could happen with him leading this offense is real. It's not about fantasy, it's about giving the team the best chance to win. And for once, winning shouldn't be a debate. There's no magical fix that'll undo the last few weeks. But there is a path forward. Start Shedeur Sanders. Commit to him. Not temporarily. Not just in response to media pressure. Fully. Let him grow. Let him lead. Let the offense rally around him. Let the city believe in someone who hasn't let them down yet. Fans, because this team has made it clear what happens when you play it safe. When you stick with what isn't working out of loyalty or fear. It ends in frustration. In division. In failure. But when you bet on talent, real talent, you give yourself a shot. And don't underestimate what that shift could do for the fan base. Cleveland is tired. Not just of losing but of the excuses. Of watching potential rot on the bench while outdated decisions get defended week after week. The fans want bold. They want change. They want to feel something on Sundays again. And Shedeur could be that catalyst. The Browns have flirted with success before. But this is one of those rare moments where a single decision could redefine a team's trajectory. That's not exaggeration. That's the weight of this quarterback dilemma. Stefanski's next move doesn't just impact this season. It might define his career in Cleveland. And possibly whether he even has one going forward. If he continues to roll with Gabriel after publicly admitting it was the wrong call, what does that say? It says he's not actually interested in growth. It says he's more committed to defending past decisions than building a better future. And in the NFL, that mindset gets you fired. Fast. Shedeur doesn't just represent hope, he represents accountability. He's the answer to a problem that's been eating away at this team from the inside. And every game he doesn't play is another missed opportunity to right the ship. Fans are done with patience. They're done with waiting for Stefanski to come around. They've seen the film. They've read the stats. They've heard the quotes. There's nothing left to debate. It's time to act. And let's not pretend this is a normal quarterback controversy. This isn't your typical rookie versus vet competition. This is about leadership. It's about integrity. It's about an organization caught red-handed, prioritizing comfort and familiarity over performance and potential, then scrambling to explain it all once the truth slipped out of their own coach's mouth. Kevin Stefanski didn't just admit to a bad football decision. He admitted to benching the better quarterback. And in today's NFL, where careers are short and fan loyalty runs thin, that kind of misstep can derail everything, from a playoff push to a coach's job security. Let's not lose sight of what's at stake here. The Browns are sitting on a ticking time bomb. Shedeur Sanders isn't just ready, he's waiting. He's watching a team fall apart from the sideline, knowing he could have made a difference. And every week that goes by without him starting is another message to the locker room. Merit doesn't matter here. We've seen this story play out before. A coach digs in. A fan base revolts. A star in waiting is left in limbo until it's too late. It's déjà vu, but this time in Cleveland. And given the way this team has clawed and scratched its way back to relevance over the last few years, it's a disaster in slow motion. Let's talk about the trust factor. When Stefanski finally admitted the mistake, it was framed like an act of accountability. But real accountability means more than just words. It means change. It means action. And the Browns haven't done that. Gabriel is still getting reps. Sanders is still on the bench. So what was the point of the admission? It's damage control. A PR patch job. And fans see right through it. Meanwhile, the media pressure is building like a storm cloud. You've got analysts calling out the cover-up, alleging that Sanders' injury was nothing more than a convenient excuse to keep him out of the spotlight while Gabriel fumbled his way through every possession. Whether that's true or not, the perception has stuck. And in sports, perception is reality. Now the coaching staff is boxed in. Stefanski's credibility is on the line. The front office is under the microscope. And the locker room? Well, insiders are already whispering about frustration brewing behind the scenes. When you've got grown men fighting every week for wins and livelihoods, the last thing you want is to watch your coach play favorites, especially when those favorites aren't delivering. And that's what Gabriel's situation has become, a symbol of stubbornness. He's not being judged on his performance anymore, he's being protected. His leash has been impossibly long while the guy with the better skill set watches from the sidelines. The double standard isn't just frustrating. It's demoralizing. It tells players that politics come first, that loyalty trumps logic, that even when you outwork, outperform, and outshine your competition, you still might not get the nod. For a team trying to build something real, that's poison. And for Stefanski, that's coaching malpractice. The Browns can't afford another lost season. Not with the pieces they've assembled. Not with the glimpses of promise they've shown. And definitely not with a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders waiting for his shot. This isn't a rebuild. This isn't a throwaway year. This is supposed to be the payoff. But thanks to one bad decision, and weeks of doubling down on it, they're back in turmoil. Let's not forget, Sanders wasn't just an afterthought. His presence in Cleveland was a statement. He brought excitement, hype, momentum. And in a league where confidence and charisma can be just as important as arm strength, he had the full package. Fans were ready to rally behind him. Instead, they got stalled drives, turnovers, and a coach who kept insisting everything was fine. Until it wasn't. The thing about NFL locker rooms is once you lose them, you rarely get them back. Players might stay professional on camera, but they talk. They know who should be playing. And when a coach refuses to see what's obvious to everyone else, the respect starts to fade. That's what Stefanski is risking now. Respect. Not just from fans or media, but from the men in that locker room who want to win and know what it takes to do it. At this point, no decision is risk-free. Starting Sanders now means admitting the Browns wasted valuable time. It means acknowledging that everything they've built the offense around for weeks was based on a miscalculation. But not starting him? That's worse. That's willful ignorance. And it tells everyone, inside and outside the building, that nothing's changing. Shedeur's presence alone has already changed the narrative. Fans aren't just demanding a quarterback switch, they're demanding a cultural reset. A return to a team that values merit over politics. Talent over tenure. Growth over comfort. The Browns say they're building for long-term success. If that's true, then they need to start making long-term decisions. And no move is more symbolic, or more impactful, than starting the quarterback who gives them the best shot at a future. That quarterback is Shedeur Sanders. It's been obvious. It's been overdue. And now, it's urgent. The rest of the league is watching. So are free agents, sponsors, and yes, future draft picks. Everyone wants to know what kind of organization Cleveland really is. One that protects its ego or one that puts winning first, even if it means owning up to mistakes. Because let's face it, this team has had enough setbacks. Enough lost years. Enough almost. They've got the pieces. They've got the fans. They've got the potential. They just need to stop getting in their own way. And if Stefanski truly meant it, if his admission about Gabriel was more than a soundbite, then the next move is simple. Put Sanders in. Give him the keys. And let the Browns find out once and for all what they really have in him. Because right now the only thing holding this team back is fear. But here's the final brutal truth. If Kevin Stefanski knows he made the wrong call and still refuses to course correct, then this isn't just poor judgment. It's sabotage. Whether it's self-inflicted or organizational, the damage is real. Every week Shedeur Sanders stays benched isn't just a waste of talent. It's a signal to the entire team and fan base. We're okay with mediocrity if it means avoiding uncomfortable decisions. And let's not forget who this really hurts the most, Shedeur himself. He's done everything right. By all accounts, he's performed in practice. He's shown leadership, poise, confidence. He's earned respect from teammates. He's stayed ready. And in return, he's been shoved to the background in favor of a quarterback who continues to disappoint. That's demoralizing. That's political. And that's everything wrong with how the Browns have handled this situation. And still, Stefanski is sitting on this ticking time bomb like it's a thermostat, hoping things cool down on their own. But they won't. Because you can't ignore momentum. You can't fake leadership. And you definitely can't hide from your own mistakes when the cameras are rolling and the entire league is watching. Let's talk about fans again, because they matter more than this coaching staff seems to realize. Cleveland has suffered. These fans have lived through quarterback carousel after carousel, heartbreak after heartbreak. They finally see a guy with potential, energy, and that it factor. And he's being treated like a backup project. They're not just frustrated, they're insulted. Because they know what they're watching. They know who looks ready. And no amount of press conference spin can change what they've seen on the field. Stefanski's credibility is hanging by a thread. If he doesn't start Shedeur soon, it's going to snap completely. And once that happens, there's no getting it back. The fans will turn. The locker room will disconnect. And the front office? They'll have to make a decision about more than just the starting quarterback. Because at this point, this is bigger than just who takes the next snap. This is about who runs this team. Who sets the tone. Who's accountable when things go wrong. And if the answer isn't Stefanski, the Browns may have a new quarterback and a new coach by the time the saga finally ends. So what happens next? That depends on whether Stefanski wants to protect his ego or save his legacy. If you're ready to see this mess get resolved once and for all, hit the like button. Drop your predictions in the comments. Will Stefanski give Shedeur the reins, or are we heading for an even bigger meltdown? And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a second of the chaos, because trust us, Cleveland's drama is just getting started.